great year to be here. And I'm very excited at the amount of people in this room. Are you guys ready to get rid of Ted Cruz? Let's lose Cruz, right?
Yeah.
And who wants any more of the orange face? That Cheeto? No. So this convention, it's pretty much a procedural process, but it's the beginning of our election season, and it gets us excited to move forward. So I'm glad you're here. The procedural part is when we all become delegates. If you want to move on to the state convention, you've got to sign up to be a delegate here. You don't have to be here, but you do have to sign up. And then you can move on to be a state delegate, and then you can move on to be a national delegate. And I will tell you, the convention this year is in El Paso. Where are my El Paso people? El Paso! All right. There's quite a few of us from El Paso, and I myself am from El Paso. So I'll be looking forward to going to the state convention and introducing you guys to Chico's Tacos. It is a great cuisine in El Paso. Also, what we will do is we'll be submitting some resolutions that we will be forwarding onto the state. So those are the procedural, and that is the purpose of our convention. But we hope to just get some excitement going and get ready to start our election season. I want to remind you guys that these beautiful shirts that I'm wearing, we have them for sale in the back, right there, if you want to get one of these beautiful shirts or t-shirt. And if you have a resolution, you have until 11/10 to write your resolution and submit it. Any resolutions outside of that time frame will not be accepted. So you are on notice. As of now, you have an hour to submit a resolution. Khan, would you please raise your hand? He has a beautiful shirt, as well as he is accepting our resolutions. I want to make sure we thank all of the volunteers who worked last night, the whole month right after our primary to try to get this out for you guys. These things don't just happen. We do not receive funds from anywhere. We don't have $1 million stashed in our bank account. We are run by volunteers, and we are funded by donors in Denton County. So I appreciate our volunteers, and can we give them a round of applause? Everybody that has volunteered. All of us here are volunteers, including myself. I've just been elected to a volunteer job, but we work it with passion. So I appreciate all of those, our precinct chairs and the volunteers that came out today. We will have a really special treat. Our state representative, Julie Johnson, the Democratic nominee for US 32. Please stand, Miss Julie. Representative Johnson herself has flipped a seat and also got out of the primary with 13 or more people and didn't even have to go into a runoff. So we're going to look forward to her talking to someone who actually knows how to work. So we're going to start off with a few videos. It's going to be hard to play. We have to work with what we have. So I hope you guys will show us some grace. Just try to hear if we can't see it. We've got videos from TDP, but we have our own system here to try to play them. So we're going to play a couple of videos from our Texas Democratic Party, and then we will listen to a great word of inspiration from Representative Johnson so she could get on the road to some of the other counties that she needs to go and inspire. So. Formality. Thank you so much. Teamwork makes the dream work. So as formality, I must say, my name is Delia Parker Mims, and as the county chair of Denton County, I am in Congressional District 26. I am the permanent convention chair per the Texas Election Code. Our convention is governed by the Texas Election Code, the rules of the Texas Democratic Party, and the most recent version of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised. None of these rules can be suspended by the convention as we conduct our business today. If you have any questions about the rules, please rise to a point of information, and I will try to answer your question. Resolutions must be filed with Con, and you have an hour to file those resolutions. Okay. Also, I wanted to introduce Michael Calloway, who will be acting as our secretary today. All right, so some more other procedural matters that must be said out loud. The chair appoints as temporary convention secretary, and they will serve until they will become our permanent secretary, Michael Calloway. Can you raise your hand, Michael? And the following permanent committee chairs were appointed by the county and our executive committee. We have appointed on our credentials committee, Sally Ortega Putney. Our nominations committee is Amy Taylor. Our platform and resolutions is Con Lee. And our rules committee is Patrick McGarry.
Clearly, we're not AV people.
It's there. It's not great because of the light. Is it there? There we go.
We can at least hear it.
Everybody, I'm Congressman Colin Allred, and I'm so honored to be your Democratic nominee for Senate. I'm sorry that I couldn't be with y'all in person for your convention this year, but I'm so thankful for the work you're doing to reach voters all across your county and to make sure that we get out the vote. And I'm really just so thankful for your commitment to our democracy at a time when it's at risk. To this campaign, to make sure that together we send Ted Cruz packing in November. Because grassroots leaders and activists like yourselves have never been more important. And with y'all's help, we can give 30 million Texans a senator who actually cares about them instead of what we have now, one who only cares about himself. And Ted Cruz wants to tell us how small we are as a state, all the things we should be afraid of. Well, I believe in a very different Texas, because I'm a fourth-generation Texan. Was raised by a single mom in Dallas who was a public school teacher. And we don't pay our teachers enough, so my mom had to work 2 jobs sometimes to make ends meet. And I relied on my community growing up, on my teachers and coaches at my local public schools, on the counselors at my YMCA, on my aunt and my uncle who helped raise me and gave me a chance to chase my version of the American dream. That dream took me to Baylor University, where I became captain of the football team, deepened my faith, and had a degree in history, was all ready to go to law school, when I had a chance to pursue another dream, of playing in the NFL. And even though I was an undrafted free agent and took a couple of tries to make it, I eventually got to play 5 years with the Tennessee Titans. And in my 5th year with the team, in my 5th game, playing in Dallas against the Cowboys, I got hit the wrong way. Not a big hit, just the wrong kind of hit. My family was in the stands, they could see me lying on the turf. I was just thinking, man, I'm so ready to go to law school. So that's what I did. I went to law school, and I became a voting rights lawyer because of what was happening here in our state. I had a chance to serve in the Obama administration. And like many of you, the election in 2016 was a wake-up call for me and my wife. We were looking around trying to figure out how we could better serve our community. And we decided to do something a little crazy, to run against a 22-year incumbent Republican for Congress who'd been so entrenched, he didn't even have an opponent in the previous election. And I remember months out from election day, prognosticators gave me a 10% chance of winning. Well, we beat him by nearly 7 points. And we did it by building a broad coalition that reflected the community that I knew. Democrats and independents, and yes, some Republicans too. And that's what's really at the heart of this campaign, is that we need to strengthen our state so that my boys who are 5th-generation Texans and the millions of other kids growing up in Texas today have the same opportunities that I did. Because folks across our state are facing a lot these days, from the high costs of healthcare, of prescription drugs, to high costs at the grocery store, to experiencing what a near total ban on abortion actually looks like. Texans are looking for solutions. I've been proud in my time in Congress to lead the charge on doing just that, by passing historic legislation, like the Inflation Reduction Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the CHIPS and Science Act, to create jobs and lower costs, and to take steps to tackle the climate crisis while also keeping Texas as a leader in energy. And now I'm running for Senate to bring that same bipartisan approach to deliver for all Texans. And since we first launched this campaign, I am so proud of the incredible support that we've seen from Texans all over this state who are fired up and ready to defeat Ted Cruz and to finally give Texas the leadership that we deserve. I know from talking to folks all across our wonderful state how tired folks are of partisan politics that gets nothing done, when they're just hoping that somebody will keep them in mind and deliver for them and their family. And y'all know, Ted Cruz is the most extreme politician out there. He's someone who abandons our state when we're in a crisis, who chooses phony culture wars over solving real issues that are impacting Texans. He is the ultimate me guy. When I was in the NFL, we would call guys who were always looking out for themselves me guys. They're the ones who rush to the cameras, never take accountability. There's a lot of me guys in Washington, D.C., but none bigger than Ted Cruz. Luckily, I know that we is more powerful than me. It's written in all of our founding documents. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We, the people, we shall overcome. Yes, we can. And on November 5th, we are going to replace Ted Cruz together. Because so much is at stake in this election. From our very democracy itself, to the ability to make your own healthcare decisions, including access to an abortion, protecting our veterans, to securing our border in a way that's consistent with our values. We can do it all by making sure we get rid of the ultimate me guy and replacing him with somebody who believes in the power of we. So if you're ready to help us fire Ted Cruz, I hope you'll consider joining Team Allred by going to callinallred.com or texting Texas to 90678 and get involved. Your vote and your voice and your action is going to be so critical in this election, and I'm counting on y'all to help us mobilize Texans all across our state and to make history and to shock the world. So thank you so much for all the work you're doing, and I can't wait to see you on the trail.
There are two more videos, but we're actually going to call our keynote speaker up because she has a tight schedule and we want to make sure y'all get to hear from her. So we can bring up your Democratic nominee for Congressional District 32, Julie Johnson.
How are y'all doing? Winning is awesome. I'm just going to say, it's a wonderful thing, something that we all need to get used to. So I'm Julie Johnson, I'm state representative. I currently hold House 115, which represents the Dallas County side of Carrollton, Farmers Branch, Addison, Coppell, and Irving. And I flipped my House seat red to blue in 2018. I'm the first Democrat to hold it in 40 years. And I just won the primary for CD 32. It's a safe Democratic seat, and so I'm excited to hopefully close it out in November, and we'll be representing you in Washington as your next Congresswoman from CD 32, and I'm very excited about that. So, Denton County, you guys are the tip of the spear of Texas politics. Denton County is one of the singular most important counties in the 2024 election. Did you guys know that? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Denton County. For Colin Allred to win, for us to bring any sanity back to the Texas legislature and the Texas House, put up a roadblock to crazy Dan Patrick, it all goes through Denton County. What you're doing is the most important work for our state right here, whether you know it or not. It is. And we need you to know it. Because we need Denton County in 2024. We need, when we're looking at the electoral results the next morning, Denton County did it. And you are the ones that are going to make it happen. So how do we get there? Flipping seats is hard work. Winning elections takes dedication, it takes commitment, it takes a passion and a perseverance to reach out to your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends, as to why their participation in this election is critical. And you have some real good opportunities to do some things. We had a wonderful meeting with candidates in advance of this. And you know, it starts with the municipal elections in May. You have a slate of people running for tax assessor. And I was so happy to see that they're working together. They have a joint slate card. And you can go and win those races. Turnout is so low in the municipal elections. Do you know what an earthquake it would be in Texas politics for the news to be the next morning that said 3 Democrats just won countywide races in Denton County? That would be amazing, right? And there's no greater way to get the enthusiasm for your incredible candidates that you have on the November ballot than to go win some damn municipal races in May. So what are we going to do? We need you guys to fire up and get after it. You have 6 weeks to go win a municipal race. And when the turnout is so low, those are the ones, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's the ones where we have the Democratic numbers to go win countywide races. When voter turnout in May is at 3%, 4%, Democrats can find 5%, right? We can do that. You have a strong Democratic Party chair. You have a strong organization to help improve and build and motivate. But I want to challenge you to get after these municipal races. And that means each one of you needs to help put together a meet and greet on your street, in your church, have a cocktail party, invite people. Everybody loves a good beer at a craft brewery. Organize some fun. Get people out. Have your municipal candidates there. And get people involved to go win a municipal race. I think Democrats really lose opportunities in municipal elections. But you know, Republicans, they're coming after our school boards. They're coming after indoctrinating our kids into the land of crazy. They're trying to take over our cities. So what are you going to do to stop it? What have you done to help a municipal candidate? If you haven't done anything, now is the time. Because the road to November goes through May. And I really want to see great things from you. I think great things can happen here. There are Democrats all over the place in Denton County. They just need to know that they're not alone. You know, when I'm out knocking doors, the funniest thing to me is you have your list on your minivan, you've got all these people you're going to go knock on, and you knock on a door, well, honey, I'm the only Democrat here. I'm like, sweetheart, you are not. Look at this list of all these Democrats that live in your neighborhood. And I show it to them. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh yeah, they're just hidden. They haven't come out yet. And so part of what you can do is to help bring Democrats out of the closet and have them come out and be proud. Because people, they're there. They just think they're on an island. And they think that they're alone in screaming at the TV every night, going, what the hell is happening with Donald Trump? And it's up to you, the precinct chairs, the activists, the one who care enough to come out here on a Saturday morning because you're so concerned about the status of our country and where we're headed in our state, that you're here to make a difference. You put your name on a ballot to make a difference. So what are we going to do? How are we going to win? You cannot ignore the municipal elections, because that is really some easy opportunities for Denton County to make their mark. Because for Colin Allred to beat Ted Cruz, Denton County has to vote Democrat. Same thing with Collin County. Dallas County is going to vote. Now, we also in Dallas County have a lot of undervoting Democrats. We have work to do there. But it's these suburban counties that's going to make the difference. And it goes right through here. So Texas is kind of interesting with what's going on, right? We have a Republican Civil War that is happening. They're eating their young on the Republican side of the aisle. We have a battle between Ken Paxton and those who voted to impeach him. We have a battle waged by Greg Abbott and those who voted to stand up for public schools. And sometimes they're different. There are 84 Republicans in the Texas House that had 70 Republican primaries. Several are right here. Incumbents lost. Cronda Thimish lost to a crazy Mitch Little. And Cronda was already crazy. And it's getting crazier. And fortunately, in Denton County, we have Democrats that have stood up for all of these seats. You have a full slate to work for, which is fantastic. Because we can never measure progress. We can never move the needle if we don't have a Democrat for people to vote for. Right? So kudos to every one of you that have taken that hard step to step forward and say, I'll do it. I'm going to sacrifice countless hours of time, stress, and anxiety, of financial resources, begging for help to advance the cause. So what can you do? Well, we have to make sure people have resources. Host a community party. It's not hard. You find a bar. Invite people out. Have that sense of community. Invite your candidates. Invite your county chair. Invite each other. Have Democrats in Denton County, you have to find that sense of camaraderie. And how do you do that? You have a neighborhood, you just start doing stuff. And supporting each other, encouraging people to become monthly donors to the campaigns. Help them get resources. Encourage people to say, okay, if I have, whatever it is, pick 3 races and divide it up. Or support your county party, or whatever it is. But get involved. Make a personal commitment that I'm going to go and find, and I'm personally going to go talk to 25 voters every 2 weeks. Or whatever you're going to do. You're going to volunteer and you're going to help move the needle. Because, what did we say? It's all going to go through Denton County. So rarely do we have a confluence where your county has become so important to Texas politics. But we're here now. Because if you look at the trajectory of electoral progress, Hillary lost the state by 16. Barack Obama lost the state by 16. Hillary lost it by 9. Biden lost it by 5. We're in that kissing zone of flip range. When you're within 5 points of a seat, you can win it. You can win it. And so that's where we are. Wouldn't it be something if Joe Biden won Texas? Wouldn't that just be so amazing? Because you know what? If Joe Biden wins Texas, you know what happens? We have sanity in the country. Texas, we're safe for a long time. But you know what happens then? We could possibly flip the state house back. We can pick up some congressional races. We can make sure that we retake the congressional majority. Then think of what can happen. Rather than playing defense in our state legislature, we can actually do some offensive good. We can finally pass Medicaid expansion. We can reverse some of these terrible abortion bills. We can provide dignity to our LGBT community. We can actually pass some gun safety laws to keep our kids safe from going to school. We can do all kinds of good stuff. We can fix the voting rights. We can make Texas an actual state where you can vote in and easily register. Yeah. Think of all the things that we can happen, the things that we can do if we can win. And my phone is like going nuts. The problem is my son is on spring break, and this is my sister calling to tell on him. And so, but think of the good things we can do. And what happens? How do we get there? Goes through Denton County. Yep. One of the things that is the tragedy of Democrats is when you feel hopeless and you feel like your vote doesn't matter, or that your time is insignificant, and that the treasure that you donate doesn't make a difference. I'm here to tell you that is all wrong. We're never going to win unless you feel that hope, unless you live it. Because for you to do that is what gives it to others. And if you don't have it within yourself, you are never going to be the leaders that we need in Denton County to provide that hope and that purpose to all these other people. So Denton County, Democrats, thank you. I'm excited to see what you're going to do. You have incredible opportunity to go move the needle, to go save the state of Texas. Elect Joe Biden president. Elect Colin Allred as the next senator. Win some municipal races. Elect to the U.S. Congress, the two of us. Win the state house. All the things. Bring Denton down to Denton County. Make it a blue county just as much as Dallas. You can do it. The people are here. You think there's not a huge difference for people to live on one in Carrollton, on the Denton County side of Carrollton and the Denton County side of Carrollton. We all drive the same road. Josie goes both places. You know, you're just not a Republican because you live on one side of the county line and a Democrat because you live on the other. The difference is you have hope and you know that your vote makes a difference. So that's your job, is to go out into your community and make sure everybody knows their vote makes a difference, because you know what? We're going to win in November. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. You guys can name and say, hey, I met our congresswoman, and you should be representing portions of Denton County. So
That's right.
thank you so much for coming. She's exactly right about the municipal. And last year, Denton was able to stave off a MAGA takeover of our municipals and school boards, and we're gonna do it again, and it does start with you guys. We're gonna do a couple more videos that TDP would like us to watch, and then we'll get started with some of our candidates.
Democrats, we have a big convention happening here in El Paso.
It'll be June 6th and 8th. It's going to be big. It's going to be important. 2024 will be one of the most important elections of our lifetime. Join us.
So that was our U.S. Senate nominee, Colin Allred, and the Congresswoman from El Paso, Veronica Escobar, welcoming you to El Paso and encouraging you to be a state delegate. All right, and now if I could call on our credentials chair, Sally Ortega-Putney, for her portion.
To do TDP rules define the temporary role as the list of persons who pre-registered or registered on site. The Credentials Committee is responsible for recommending the permanent role of delegates who will serve for the remainder of this convention. They would also hear any contest and challenges concerning the seating of delegates. The chair of the Credentials Committee is now recognized to give the committee's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No contests were filed, and so the Credentials Committee recommends that the list of delegates provided to the Secretary be seated at this convention. By direction of the committee, I move adoption of the permanent convention roll. So for CD 26, we had 69 to 10. We had 333 allotted delegates. For District 4, we had 12 and 28 allotted. For 32, we had 0, but we do have 16 allotted. Two? Oh, I didn't get the 2. Oh, okay. Oh, not in the computer. Oh, there you are. Okay, so we have 2 for you. And then for 13, we had 16 and 78 allotted. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Okay, unless there is an objection.
Objections? Once, twice, sold.
The permanent convention roll is adopted as submitted. So that means we're all going to be delegates.
The Rules Committee met and recommends the following convention standing rules. The floor debate on resolutions shall be limited to 4 speakers, 2 in the affirmative, and 2 in the negative. The first speaker or the designee shall be the maker of the motion speaking in the affirmative for adoption. The second speaker shall be recognized to speak in the negative. The floor debate on amendments shall be limited to 2 speakers, including the proposer of the amendment. All speeches shall be limited to 1 minute unless time is extended by a majority vote of the assembly. By direction of the committee, I move the adoption of the proposed convention standing rules.
And basically, before Delia closes this, it just sets up how we're going to debate resolutions. So 2 for, 2 against, time limits, just so that we can get out of here and aren't debating in the parking lot till 9 p.m. And then, Madam Chair, if you will say your last line. So you say, where'd the hand rules go?
Is it under the table?
Thank you, Madam Executive Director. This is Leslie Gutierrez. Poor. Who also has given birth to our youngest Democrat. And where's her first convention? Where is she?
Both my kids' first convention.
Okay.
They were in hospitality hanging out.
All right, so the words I must say are, unless there is an objection.
Any objection?
Is anyone objecting to creating limits so that we could get our resolutions done? If there's any objections, then the proposed convention standing rules are adopted, and those are the time limits that we will have on our resolutions.
Madam Chair, as the chair of the nominations committee, I move to suspend the rules and to suspend the precinct caucuses and the selection of at-large delegates and to elect all persons who have indicated a desire to attend the state convention by acclamation.
Second. We don't need a second. Cool, never mind.
All right. We don't need a second, as our nominating chair is the one that brought that. And I will say the motion is to suspend the rules and suspend the precinct caucuses and the selection of at-large delegates, and to elect all persons who have indicated a desire to attend the state convention by acclamation. Is there any objection? And I will decipher that. Basically, we are asking us to go forward with our convention together as a whole, as opposed to breaking up and going into little caucuses per your congressional district. And the most important thing is we're saying all of us are now going to be delegates. So if we can continue with our convention here, as opposed to breaking off, that's what we're asking to suspend the rules for. So are there any objection to suspending the rules and doing our convention as a whole? Hearing none, the precinct caucuses and selection of at-large delegates are suspended, and all persons who have indicated a desire to attend the state convention are elected by acclamation. And I will direct the chair of the nominations committee to create a list of all of the people who want to be attending the state convention, and we have until April 15th to perfect that list. So some people who may be delegates will still be able to get on that list even if they're not here today. So now we are going to hear from our candidates, and everybody, you have a hard 3 minutes. So
do I stand right here?
Yep. Talk into the mic, project.
Not into this one?
Yeah, this
Okay,
one.
very good. All right, how are y'all doing?
Hi.
Sorry, a little loud. I used to be a cheerleader in college, can you tell?
Yeah.
My name's Peter Munjaguera. I'm a Louisville resident, born and raised in Flower Mound, Texas. My wife, Bailey, and my loud son, Conrad, is back there. And I'm running for the Denton County Central Appraisal District, Place 1. And I want to make it clear, as Julie Johnson made before, I'm not running alone. I'm running with two amazing candidates, Sophia Anwar and Jordan Villarreal. You can vote for all three of us. So you can check 1, check 2, check 3, and we can elect countywide Democrats in Denton County for the first time in decades. Isn't that exciting? Now, a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm born in Carrollton, actually, raised in Flower Mound, went to Flower Mound High School, which is where I met my wife, Bailey, on the cheer squad. We both went to Baylor University, where I studied political science, and then went on to go to law school after that at Baylor. I'm a 3-time Texas Ledge staffer, all for Democrats. Worked during some amazing sessions, including the one where we elected Julie Johnson and 11 other great State House Democrats. And we passed historic public education reform. Worked during this last session for Senator Judith Zaffirini, where we passed some property tax reform that I think could have done a little more for working families, but that's why I'm running now, so that we can continue the work. And part of that reform created these new elected central appraisal districts, where for the first time ever, our county is going to have a direct say in who's going to be sitting on our central appraisal district board. Now, what does that board do? They set the budget for the board, or for the district that actually appraises your homes, and more importantly, they pick the appraisal review board, which is where you go if you don't like your appraisal. Now, up to this point, it's been a lot of rich folks, people who are real estate agents, not a lot of diversity, not a lot of working families, not a lot of young progressive voices on there. So if we all three can get elected and bring those new perspectives, then we can get people who look like Denton County elected and on these review boards. So it's very important. Oh, 45 seconds, very good. All right, it's very important that you vote early and on election day, May 4th. If everybody in this room goes and votes, it's going to boost that turnout. These municipal elections, they get 3, 4, 5% turnout. This is a brand new seat. Every time I've talked to somebody about this race, they go, "What? Central appraisal who? I don't know what you're talking about." So this is a really exciting opportunity in a low salience race that has high importance for our lives, something that we have to pay every single month with our mortgage, that we can improve people's lives. So I encourage you to check out Munjaguera for Central Appraisal District on Facebook. Please donate. Please volunteer, do whatever you can to get us elected on May 4th. Thank you all so much.
Hello, my name is Sophia Anwar. Nice to see all of you. And I'm going to go this side because God blessed me with a loud voice, but not so much of the height. So I'm going to come over here. I want to thank everyone for being here this morning. It is not easy to get out of the house every day. I have a 4-year-old, so I worked extra hard today on a weekend. My name is Sophia Anwar. I am running for Denton Central Appraisal District Board Place 2. It's a mouthful. It's also a new position, like Peter mentioned. I am so blessed to be able to run with Jordan and Peter here, and we're running as a slate to increase representation on the appraisal board. I am a homeowner. It is tough to be a homeowner. It is really expensive to be a homeowner. And when you go as a new family or someone moving into Denton County, or you're wanting to grow within your community, it can be tough to go up against that board. Every single person I've talked to has not had a positive experience. Have you all had a positive experience? I didn't think so. And listen, I'm a mom. I say no probably 100 times a day. Okay? I get it. Sometimes you're gonna go and the answer you're gonna get is gonna be a no. But if you weren't heard, if people didn't take the time to understand that you got out of your house, took time away from your family and your job to get there, to at least plead your case, it makes the entire process disheartening. And that's what I want to get away from. My name is Sophia Anwar. I'm running for DCAD Place 2. I have worked for a Democratic president. I have worked for a Democratic member of Congress. I currently work for a Democratic state legislator, and I'm currently running to make sure that we have more representation in the local municipal elections as well. Early voting is April 22nd to April 30th. April 29th is my birthday, so if you want to wish me happy birthday, that's a good day to go too. But you can always wish me an early happy birthday. That's okay, that's okay. Please get out and vote. Use everything you have. Use your voice. Bring your friend. Listen, I have a lot of friends who don't want to vote either. I have to I'll say it, I bully my parents, okay? I call them every day, and sometimes I say, I won't talk to you, I won't let you see a grandbaby until you show me that sticker. Do what you have to do. It is important. I currently serve on Leadership Louisville. I'm an active member of the Louisville Chamber of Commerce. My dad is a hardware store owner. I know how important it is to be of the community. I've been working as a cash register since age 9, not properly getting my dues, but still, it's important. It's important when you know your neighbors. It's important when you know who is in your local community. It's important when you know who your local fire department, police department are. But if we're not in the community, if people don't know your face, then it's really hard at the end of the day on voting day to say, where is my representation? We have to be our representation. So again, Sophia Anwar, place 2 for DCAT. Thank you all so much.
Howdy. My name is Jordan Villarreal. I'm a community advocate, a planning and zoning commissioner, a 7th-generation Texan, and for nearly a decade now, a proud Denton County Democrat. When I initially moved to Denton County to attend UNT, I immediately knew this is where I want to lay down roots and call home. As a 2-term member of the Denton Planning and Zoning Commissioner, I've pushed hard to defend those unique qualities that make Denton County a great place to live, work, and play. I've pushed back against gentrification, outside influence, and overdevelopment. And when our neighbors came out to make their voices heard, I made it my job not to dictate, but to listen, even if it made me the only one to vote against a project. I've made it my philosophy to act as your voice on the board. Unfortunately, we've had a lack of considerate and transparent leadership at other levels of government in our county. We've only just begun to clean up the mess left at the Denton Central Appraisal District by our former chief appraiser. Their ineptitude and lack of transparency directly led to inadequate training and no sense of urgency in their staff, and our county has suffered greatly because of it. Now, current leadership has made it their effort to clean up the mess left by the former chief appraiser, but we desperately need independent, forceful watchdogs in the room to ensure it never happens again. That's why when I saw these newly created positions, and after chatting with local leaders and my family, I decided to toss my hat in the ring for the countywide Place 3 position. The time is now to ensure we have transparency, rejuvenated trust, and community responsiveness. We need someone on the board who will fight for your home. We need someone on the board who will be your voice. Look, I've been a strong Denton County Democrat since moving here. I've served as a president of several Democratic clubs, a longtime precinct chair, as our former county party vice chair, and as a national delegate for President Joe Biden in 2020. I've pushed to elect progressive leaders across Denton County and the surrounding areas, helping 18 campaigns cross the finish line victoriously. Now we have a chance to win a countywide seat here in Denton County for the first time in 40 years. Hear me, 40 years. It's been a long time coming. This is a nonpartisan special election taking place alongside our city council mayoral races. Turnout is going to be around 8%. I know we can get it done. It's going to take all of us coming together to get all three of us over the finish line and let the country know Denton County is prime for the picking. Look, we can win this seat and we can make sure that we have a strong force going into November. I'm so grateful we have fantastic leaders like Chairwoman Delia Parker Mims and Executive Director Leslie Molina leading the charge. We can win these seats. We can get Fred Bishop elected sheriff. We can and we will elect Colin Allred U.S. Senator, and we will send President Biden and Vice President Harris back to Washington to finish the job. My name is Jordan Villarreal. It's your home, it's your voice. Let's get to work, Denton County.
Running for Denton County Sheriff. My platform that I'm running on is fairness. They can hear me. You can't hear me back there? I'm an old drill sergeant. Okay, I'll take the mic. Anyway, I'm running on fairness, integrity, and teamwork. I am from Denton, Texas. I was born and raised there, graduated high school in 1985, left there, went to the Army, had a military career there. Once I left the Army, I went to the Dallas, went to college. I was in college. While I was in college, I was at the Dallas Sheriff Department in Dallas, working as a jailer. Once I've completed that 6 years, I went to the Dallas Police Department. I worked there 21 years and 8 months, and I retired there 2017 as a detective, honorably retired. My platform that I'm running on is fairness, integrity, and teamwork. And my concept is, let's make a modification to the Denton County Sheriff's Office. The first modification would be me being elected as Sheriff of Denton County, okay? The second thing is that let's have a transparency. Let's make this a race make this an office where everybody can get treated fairly, not just a particular crowd or particular sector of people. We want everyone to be treated fairly when they come to that office. Now, I learned some years ago, they said that 98% of the population probably won't deal with the sheriff's office or any type of law enforcement. But that 2% that does should be treated fairly, should be able to walk in there and keep their head up. And then you should be some type of community outreach where the sheriff department is out in public, being seen, reaching out to the community, and just talking to the people, not us against them. And that's the attitude that I'm trying to get away from with the Denton County Sheriff's Office. And I have to keep saying office because they say you have to say office to be politically correct with them as they get a little attitude about it. So it is an office. I'm used to Dallas. So here's what I want to bring to you. Think about me, bishopfordenton@.com. We're looking for donations. We're looking for votes. We're doing everything to try to make some changes in Denton County. Just as Jordan said, we're going to all work together to try to make this change what's already there and make something brand new. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Yeah, let's move this out of the way. First of all, good morning. Yeah, my name is Detrick DeBurr. I live in the Colony, Texas. I have been a planning and zoning commissioner in North Texas for 18 years, 9 years in Cedar Hill, Texas, another 9 years in the Colony. The reason I'm sharing that is because I know how Texas is growing, meaning how we got here, and I know where we're going, the future. We can win this. I'm running for Texas House District 65. This is an open seat. I heard that Greg Abbott said he needed 2 more votes to push his voucher scam. When I get to Austin, he'll need 3 more votes to pass his voucher scam. You see, my mother was a retired public school teacher. My daughter is a public school teacher. They need resources. Our ISD doesn't need to be sued with frivolous suits over electioneering and banning books. Our cities, the people you voted for, They need resources, they need help, they need the autonomy to do their jobs. What am I saying? If the city of Denton has voted to allow some measure of the decriminalization of marijuana possession, they should be able to do so. They shouldn't be sued, bankrupting the city over frivolous lawsuits. This is a really simple decision that we have in November, guys. It's really simple. It's simple because this is not about political right or political left. This is about behavioral right and behavioral wrong. You see, Greg Abbott is so far right that he's wrong. Ken Paxton is so far right that he is wrong. And his lawyer, Mitch Little, is so far right that he's wrong. So the only question we have to ask is, whose side are you on, guys? That's the only question we have to ask. I need your help. 30 seconds. Really simple. I'm on the side of freedom. This is what this is about. I believe that women should have the freedom to do what they choose with their bodies. I believe that parents should have, simple freedom to send their kids to school and expect that school to be fully funded. I believe you and I should have the freedom to come into this church. You don't have to worry about someone who's deranged having an AK-47. Simple freedom. Some people are on the wrong side. I'm on the right side. You and I on the same side. We're on freedom's side, and freedom always wins.
Where can they find you?
Thank you so much. You can find me at deburfortexas.com/donate because I need your help.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Colin Johnson. I'm the Democratic nominee for House District 57, and I'm a local kid through and through. Graduated from Marcus High School, where then I attended Prairie View A&M University, where I studied finance and economics. Thank you. Currently a master's candidate at SMU Cox School of Business, where I'll be graduating this May with a master's in business degree. Thank you. So really simple, I inherently and intuitively understand a lot of the issues that many Texans face. My mother was a lifelong employee of Louisville Independent School District, where she served as elementary school counselor for Prairie Trail Elementary. My father was a state trooper for over 25 years and retired with the force. So my goal in Austin is to keep the main thing. We have many different issues across the wide variety of spectrum, ranging from infrastructure to healthcare to school and public education. And then there you got K through 12 and you have higher education. So many different issues that we need to focus on and tackle this next legislative session. I'm going to make it my goal to listen to you all and implement and enact legislative policy that you all agree with and want to see pushed forward. So that's really simple, and I'm Colin Johnson.
All right, I'm going to call up the Denton City Council trio, because I thought I saw Paul, or not. Yes, I did. Hi, Paul.
So you've heard a lot this morning about choice, about following our hearts, about being community, about recognizing that the community has stood up for certain fundamental values, and that there are candidates running for office that maybe don't see it the exact same way. Maybe they feel they know better, that they need to take away local choice. What you got here is an example of three people that believe fundamentally in local choice, that believe fundamentally in the community that we share across Denton County, that believe fundamentally in the environment and women's right to choose and the right to education that you keep hearing about over and over, these common themes. So Denton is really trying hard with these three counselors to lead in North Texas. So with that, to keep our time short, I'll pass it on.
Morning, everybody. It's so great to stand in a room full of Democrats and be acknowledged as such. My name is Councilmember Brandon Chase McGee. I'm very proud to serve on the Denton City Council at large. I represent the entire city. I want to take a couple minutes to acknowledge some people in the audience, because that says a lot about who I am and who we are. First off, our chair, Delia Parker Mims. Want to say hello to Louisville ISD School Board member Dr. Stacy Barker in the back. Want to acknowledge my predecessor, Denton City Council member Dr. Deb Armentor. I am so thankful for all of these people who paved the way for me. And last but not least, I want to acknowledge my former colleague as your representative to the Texas Democratic Party, Silas Ortega Haynes. Yeah, we've heard a lot about rights and freedoms. And we have paved the way in Denton. So when it came to standing up for women's reproductive freedom, we passed a resolution that said women have the right to do what they're going to do with their bodies, and our police officers should not investigate. When it came time to protect young people and black and brown people and LGBTQ folks, we passed a resolution. We affirmed a resolution that the voters in Denton passed that said we should no longer be arresting people for petty crimes of marijuana. We are the only city in the county and among the only cities in North Texas that is as environmentally conscious as we are. So our leadership has helped us start an environmental sustainability fund that had $4 million in it to make sure that we protect our green spaces, our waterways, and our air in the city of Denton. No one has been more of a worker rights champion as I have. As a local truck driver, I understand what it's like to be a worker and work for someone. So the three of us have protected our city of Denton staff because the very best staff in the state of Texas deserve the very best pay, the very best benefits, so they can take care of the very best residents in the state of North Texas. And with that, I am on the ballot this year. I am running again for re-election to my second term. The election is, of course, May 4th. You can find me on all platforms at McGeeForDenton.com. Give me a follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends. Any other candidates that are currently on the ballot? Okay, so in the sake of fairness, I will tell you that Dale is in a runoff, which he will tell you about, against Michael Braxton, who you can find at mbraxtonstxstatesenate.com. That's a mouthful. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, how you guys doing? So my name is Dale Frey. I'm running for the Texas State Senate for District 30. There are many things I'm very passionate about, like trying to fix our broken healthcare system, supporting our public school teachers, supporting our public schools. Let me go more into detail about that. You see, my wife and I moved back down here to Texas to be closer with our father as he battled stage 3 cancer. And I was shocked when I came down here to find out just how bad things are. A friend of mine named Kenneth, she owns our own LLC. She is a healthcare provider. She's ranting to me over a cup of coffee, talking about how she has to drop her Medicaid recipients because the Medicaid rates have not been adjusted since long before the pandemic, and inflation's killing her in the sector. So we have people, healthcare providers dropping their Medicaid recipients, all while we're not part of the Medicaid expansion program, only because it's blocked by Governor Greg Abbott, something we already pay money into, and money that does not come back here to home, but does go to California and New Jersey and other states, which is insane. We have people who are poor, but not poor enough to qualify for the Medicaid program. This is insane. All of these things could be fixed if only we had better leadership in Austin. I want to support our public school teachers. My father-in-law that I was talking about, he was a public school teacher. I was shocked to find out how little amount of money he made as a retired public school teacher. I was shocked to find out how little amount of money school teachers make before they retire. A friend of mine, Vicky, on the Frisco Democratic Club board, she's telling me how much money she made before she retired. And I said, my God, Vicky, that's the same amount of money I made my first job out of college. Our school teachers are not supported. A decade ago, our legislature used to give more direct money to our public schools, but over the past decade, they've adjusted the way that money flows. It now comes a little bit more so out of your property taxes, which is a lopsided way that does not work. We need to fund our public schools. Like, we cannot call our school teachers groomers. What they're doing is they're taking care of our kids, which means they're taking care of our future. And I want to support them. I want to support our public schools. I want to support our teachers. That said, I don't know how much time I have left. Okay, cool. So I'm in a runoff right now. Usually this is a point where I ask you for money. I'm not going to ask you for money. I know that sounds weird. What I'm going to ask you is to come out and vote. My runoff election is not at the beginning of May, it's at the end of May. It's May 28th. So what my big ask for you right now is to open up your phone, open up your calendar, and mark down on May 28th, and also the week before that is early voting. On May 28th, Vote for Dale Frey, that's F-R-E-Y. You can also find more information about me at freyfortexas.com, that's F-R-E-Y for Texas.com. On the table out there, you can also see a card with my face on it. There's also the dates for my runoff election there as well. Again, it's pretty weird for a candidate for you to not ask money from you, but this is what I need to do, because the hard thing with a runoff is making sure that people even know that a runoff is happening. So please, freyfortexas.com, that's F-R-E-Y, May 28th. Thank you for your time.
And our last candidate speech, and before we start, let's start timer. I'm going to ask that if you're a candidate currently running for office, that we get a group photo of all of you so that we can show off how many we have.
For Michelle Beckley, who is your former state representative and is running for election against Ben Baumgartner. As you know, Michelle runs a bird shop, and so she's had to go out and get baby birds. So she is going and getting those from the suppliers because it is that time of the year when we make lots of new baby birds. But I want to give you two numbers. The first number is 8. Okay, that is the number of seats that we have to flip to Democratic in order to protect public education in the state of Texas. If we don't flip a minimum of 8 seats, vouchers come in, we defund our schools. So we need to flip a minimum of 8 seats in the Texas House. Okay, the second number is 12. I don't know if you've noticed, but Speaker Dade Phelan is in a runoff election and may actually lose his runoff election, in which case we are definitely going to have a new Speaker of the House. If we flip 12 seats, that new Speaker of the House will be a Democrat. And flipping those seats starts here in Denton County. Okay, Michelle's seat, Detrick's seat. Those are the two easiest to win in this county. They are in the top tier of seats to flip in this state. We have to flip HD 63 and HD 65. Who are we running against in HD 63? We're running against Ben Baumgartner, a person whose first bill that he filed when he went into office was to legalize sawed-off shotguns. Okay? I don't even know what to say with that one. I mean, his first bill to legalize sawed-off shotguns. Okay, he owns a company in McKinney that manufactures AR-15s. So he voted for vouchers to defund our public schools. His wife is running again for Louisville ISD on that May 4th ballot. So make sure that you vote against Ben Baumgartner's wife on that May 4th election. Okay? And in November the 5th, vote for Michelle Beckley for state representative. If you can donate, I would love it. I have donation envelopes out on the counter. Or you can go to michellebeckley.com, click on the donate link, and give us money. Thank you.
All right, if we could grab that candidate photo, and if I can ask April and Tony for help. Come on, I see y'all come on stage. Lots of pictures. And in State Senate District 12, Stephanie Draper. Unfortunately, that is gerrymandered in a lot of counties, so timing didn't work out. If you live in County Commissioner 1, so if your precinct starts with a 1, you can vote for Tommy Bedford. If you live in House District 64, Angela Brewer is running to be your Democratic State Representative. And if you live in House District 106, Hava Johnston is running, and you can find her at hava106.com. Madam Chairwoman, if you could join the photo. Okay. There we go.
Little guys gotta get it back. Short guys gotta get it back. Yeah, I got you. Okay, ready?
Ready, aim.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Keep smiling, everybody.
Lots of pictures.
Wedding smiles. Get those wedding smiles going. Somebody's eyes are covered by the hat.
All right, like 10 more seconds of pictures. Some huge round of applause for our candidates. None of them are collecting big checks. This is mostly volunteer, time away from their families, their own personal resources, because they believe in the Democratic messaging. So we are so thankful to have this wonderful slate of candidates running. And we hope that next primary, it's even bigger. All right, and now I pass it back over to our convention chair for the election of the
Permanent Convention Secretary. Michael, can you stand up and wave for us, dear? And any other officers necessary to conduct convention business. The chair would like to have Michael Calloway and other officers. Is there any objection? Hearing none, sir, you are our secretary. Can you give us a good pageant wave?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we are not doing precinct and a nominations committee report because we've already done that. So now we move on to platform and resolutions. Connor, you ready? Or he's selling a shirt. Hold on.
Were you guys not excited about our candidates? I mean, I'm just sitting there just going, oh my gosh, all of Democratic candidates are always well prepared. And all of them have something interesting that they can bring and change. I'm excited about our potential sheriff candidate. I am a family law attorney, and I want our sheriff to pick up guns from people who have protective orders. Our current sheriff wanted this to become a Second Amendment place so that he doesn't have to pick up guns. So when you guys are out there speaking to people, those are some of the things that make a difference in the lives of people in this county. When a woman or a family member leaves, that is when they become most vulnerable. And our sheriff went to our commissioners and said, we're not picking up guns. So I'm looking forward to someone who will be protecting families. And I know with Mr. Ernest Lineberger, I know that we want to protect our Social Security. We didn't talk about that, but when you guys are out there, you want to know what you can do to help, you have to spread correct information. You cannot vote, they cannot vote for their friends. They are going after Social Security, and we need to make sure we get people in office who are going to protect that. That's our large voting population is concerned about that, so you guys can be out there and be little soldiers. We need to codify Roe, right? They're telling us specifically what they want to do, and so we got to listen. Mr. Ransom Funches, you have a very good race, so let us make sure we pay attention to that JP race because we have really good opportunity there, and hopefully we'll be able to do a Denton Democratic Law Enforcement County tour because Democrats love law and order. The idea that we don't is ridiculous, and we can see what the Republicans are doing now. They don't particularly care about that. In our 65 and our 63 candidates, those are so very important races. We have to win those House district seats, and we have two very strong candidates. So pay attention to those things. Also in 57, I am so proud of Colin Johnson. Have you ever seen a young man already so engaged in the processes? It gives us hope for the future. So, let's all use this hashtag going forward. Hashtag Let's Flip Denton. You'll be seeing that. And finally, I would like to say that the county party itself has a campaign. So we put on a Get Out the Vote, and it's powered by donations. We don't get donations from the national office. We don't get donations from Austin. And nobody is going to save Denton County but ourselves. And so as the county party, our campaign is we increase turnout. And we are right now also trying to raise money to get that done. And we have some QR codes around. to raise money, because the more money that we raise, the more we can boost every candidate. The more we can help pay for their social media as we did last time. But at this point, we cannot do that. Hopefully by August, we will be able to do that. We want to pay for our candidates' profile on social media. We want to be able to have mailers that we send out with those messages saying, protect Social Security, don't vote red. Because we want to send that message out so that people are just afraid to vote red, right? We can help do that as a county party, and we do that with our campaign by raising money and going deep down and trying to get people to the polls. And I will just say this one last thing. In our last campaign, Denton County was the #1 county for increasing Democratic turnout. We beat Dallas, we beat Tarrant, we beat Collins. There was only 11 counties in the state who increased turnout, and Denton County was one. And what that means is, in 2018, turnout was high because we hated Cruz, right? Lose Cruz. Denton County beat that number in the next midterm, which was Abbott. So we increased turnout. Other counties did not do that. And if they had an increased turnout, we may have a different story. So that's just letting you know that we work hard as volunteers to get people to the polls, because that is our job. And we also have a campaign to do. So when you're thinking about donations, and I'm just going to say this, either donate locally to our candidates or donate to the party. Your donations are better spent donating, I'm going to say this again, locally. We all want Batting to win. Okay, he's going to have enough money. He came to Dallas. I think he made $1 million at a dinner party. And he's taking that money out of Texas. So I'm a county chair. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm already hot talking about it. Money out of Texas is leaving Texas. But we've got to also get money in Denton County, and we've got to start donating in Denton County, because if you want these candidates to win, you've got to donate to them, or you got to donate to the party, and before you do those other donations. And that's obviously what I'm going to say, because I'm chair of the county, but that is how it works. Okay, we want to get those local people elected.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Our agenda, we have resolutions, the Rules Committee. We will break out into our delegations to elect a representative, and then we're done. So, well, kind of, I'm going to read them. I'm on the committee, so this is very long and very formal, and I'm very sorry, but roll with me. They're important things. This is just the business of that. Chair, the committee received 6 resolutions and proposed amendments to the platform. They are available for viewing right here. And we do not have a consent calendar, so I get to read each one. The first item is a resolution, just a resolution. Whereas Rosalind Carter, former First Lady of the United States, passed away in November 2023. Sorry, the handwriting on this is... Do you want to come up and read your resolution? Yeah, okay.
Who's got bad handwriting? Me. Oh, hi, Famad. There's a lot of people with bad handwriting. Right. Trying to decipher those. Oh, really?
Whereas Rosalind Carter, former First Lady of the United States, passed away in November 2023, and whereas Mrs. Carter was a champion for mental health access, women's rights, caregivers, and was a dedicated Democrat her entire life, and whereas Mrs. Carter was a trailblazer for women across Texas and the United States, therefore be it resolved that the Texas Democratic Party pays tribute to the life of Mrs. Carter and extends sincere condolences to President Carter and the Carter family. And be it further resolved that an official copy of this resolution be sent to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta, Georgia.
Don't move. So these are memorial resolutions. So the committee recommendation is to adopt. The question is on the adoption of item 1. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. Is there any objection to the adoption of item 1? Hearing none, item 1 is adopted. Item 2.
This is the last one. Whereas Congressman Charlie Stenholm passed away in May of 2023, and whereas Congressman Stenholm was a fierce advocate in Congress for rural Texans, farmers, and Texas Democrats, and whereas Congressman Stenholm chaired a U.S. House Agriculture Committee for many terms and was instrumental in crafting the Farm Bill, and therefore be it resolved that the Texas Democratic Party pays tribute to the life of Congressman Stenholm and extends sincere condolences to Congressman Stenholm's family, and be it further resolved that an official copy of this resolution be sent to Congressman Stenholm's family.
The question is on the adoption of item 2. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there any objection to the adoption of item 2? Hearing none, item 2 is adopted. All right, in the interest of time, the others are typed, so they are very easy to read. So, Resolution 2183 by Tenney, Denton County Congressional District 32. Resolution to condemn NGP van being sold to the venture capitalist firm Apex. Whereas NGP Van, a previously respected entity within our community, has engaged in a transaction resulting in international ownership of our very critical infrastructure, thereby compromising its integrity and loyalty to us, the Texas Democratic Party, and thereby all of our party candidates that rely on Van for constituent engagement. And whereas NGP Van decision to sell to the British venture capitalist firm Apex not only demonstrates a lack of commitment to the American values and undermines the trust and confidence placed in our organization, and whereas upon being bought by the private equity firm, Apex immediately laid off many staffers for the purpose of increasing revenue for its investors. And whereas the actions NGP Van took are detrimental to the interest of our community and may have far-reaching consequences for the local economy, employment opportunities, and the reliability of our data safety. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Texas Democratic Party will hereby condemn NGP Van for its decision to sell to Apex, thereby betraying our trust and risking data being accessed and used nefariously by partners unnamed within Apex, an international private equity company that lists entities from Britain to Saudi Arabia having ownership over our voter and party organizing data. That was a long one. Again, there's discussion for everything, and then if there's a lot of discussion, we will bring the resolution author up if they're here. If the resolution author is not here, discussion isn't needed. The committee recommendation is to adopt. The question is on the adoption of item 3, resolution 2183. Is there any further discussion?
What are we talking about?
So NGP Van is a data system that we use and it's the voter file. So we figure out how likely you are to vote for Democrats, where you live, your birthday, all that stuff. That was recently sold to a venture capitalist firm that has investors from Saudi Arabia and Britain. So the intent of the resolution is to condemn that sale and let them know that that is not something that the Denton County Democrats are cool with.
Why don't we just move the database?
I'm sorry?
That's a different move the database.
That's a different thing.
Well, that's a whole,
That's in the next one.
yeah, that's a whole other thing. It's okay.
It's a different step.
So by condemning the sale as an organization, what effect does that have on them?
It doesn't change the data because unfortunately that is a contract by the state party, but it lets them know that we are not pleased and we make up the state. We are the state party. We are all Texas Democrats. So it lets them know that we're not cool with it.
Okay, so it's not just Denton Democrats, it's all Democrats.
This is, I'm gonna vote, this is the.
Oh, yeah.
We can only vote on behalf of our county.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
only
I
Denton.
got it.
Okay, so that was 2 questions. Any other questions?
I was just going to state the reason that we wrote it and the reason to condemn is so that they're given an opportunity to know that we're displeased while we hopefully in further resolutions all the way through state and then to national actually pick to own our own data. And so if we condemn, it gives them the wherewithal to maybe sell again, because they have that ability, right? They could sell back to or sell out of that private equity firm into one that doesn't hold in places that are going to do us wrong.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a very complicated issue. There needs to be a lot of research. There needs to be some presentation. There needs to be bullet points so we don't make fools of ourselves. I disagree with this 110%.
You are allowed to vote against a resolution, so we will call.
Everybody else should too.
Right, so I will call for a vote because it sounds like this is a thing that you can either say A or nay. And so how that's gonna go, who's helping me count votes? Parliamentarian, secretary?
I was going to keep counting.
Okay, so there is a not 100% approval. So here's how we're gonna go. Is there any further discussion?
A standing division could be quick if it's clear, and then if it's not, then we vote, then we actually count.
Do you want to do, so just call for the A's and nays?
Yeah, well, just a standing division would be better than both.
I don't know what that means, Patrick.
Everybody in favor stand up.
Okay.
And then say everybody against stand up.
Okay.
If it's really clear, then you don't have to take the time for a natural count.
On the recommendation of the parliamentarian, I will call for a standing division. So those in favor of the resolution, please mark so by standing. If you're unable to stand, raise a hand. Okay. Yes, if you are in favor of condemning NGP van being sold to the venture capitalist firm Apex, please stand.
In favor?
In favor of the condemnation. Yes. If you think it's bad that they did this, please stand. Sorry. Okay. I think we can agree that this is a pretty clear standing division, and so the resolution will be recommended and forwarded on to the state party. I'm gonna take my vote back for you. I'm kidding. Okay. Okay, the parliamentarian has recommended that I call for those opposed. So if you would like to signal your opposition to sending this resolution to the state party, also stand? Also stand, please. That's okay. Opinions are good. All right. So the motion will be forwarded on. Awesome. Next, resolution. Resolution 2050 by Tenney, Denton Congressional District 32. This is also a long one, and we will move in the same fashion. Organizational ownership and management of all party data to be held in-house. Whereas the data generated and collected by the Texas Democratic Party is a valuable asset that plays a crucial role in shaping organizational strategies, decision-making processes, and outreach efforts. And whereas the proper management and stewardship of party data are essential to safeguarding the privacy and confidentiality of our members and supporters, as well as maintaining the integrity and trustworthiness of our organization. And whereas relying on external entities or third-party vendors to manage party data introduces risk related to data security breaches, unauthorized access, and potential exploitation of sensitive information for purposes contrary to the interest of the Texas Democratic Party. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Texas Democratic Party hereby commits to ensuring the ownership, control, and management of all party data remain in-house under direct supervision and oversight of designated personnel appointed by party leadership. And be it further resolved that the Texas Democratic Party, shall establish robust data governance policies and procedures to govern the collection, storage, processing, and dissemination of party data, ensuring compliance with applicable laws, regulations, and ethical standards. And be it further resolved, the Texas Democratic Party shall invest in the necessary infrastructure, resources, and technology solutions to support the secure storage, management, and analysis of party data, therefore reducing reliance on external vendors or service providers. And the Texas Democratic Party shall prioritize transparency and accountability in its data management practices, providing clear guidelines and mechanisms for party members and candidates to access, update, and eventually and even individually request the deletion of their own personal data held by the Texas Democratic Party. And be it further resolved, the Texas Democratic Party shall undertake regular audits and assessment of its data management practices to identify and address any vulnerabilities, weaknesses, or non-compliance issues, thereby mitigating the risk of data breaches or misuse. All right, is there any discussion? Yeah, so as an earlier speaker mentioned, this is basically saying that the Texas Democratic Party should own their own data. We shouldn't contract with outside firms. They should appoint and have systems and regulations in place that it's all done in-house.
Can I speak? I want to speak in opposition.
Okay, so as a reminder for debate rules, you get 1 minute. There are 2 people allowed to speak in favor and 2 people allowed to speak in opposition. Is there a point of, yes? The state party, do you know? Yeah.
All the counties have to adhere to those and conduct our own audits.
That is a question for the resolution's author, who I will call up, because I don't know.
The intent with this resolution is to, it's being brought to many conventions across this country to bring it to national, because the decision of data is a national issue. So this would just be stating that we as Democrats in Denton say, yeah, we're really worried about data in this day and age, and it's not too early to start talking about how to have it privately owned by us, because we are the members of the party. And so really, until it would be adopted nationally, it's not gonna go into what you're asking, like change your life. Right? It would be rolled out over years. And like, honestly, I hope to live to see this happen.
Okay, so we have 1 person speaking in opposition. I will let you come up to the mic in the sake of being accessible. And then we will start a timer.
Howdy, how's it going? I like the intention of this. However, we do have multiple third-party contractors who build out our data for us, including NGP Van, who without their work, we would not have been able to flip those 18 seats I've had a chance to help work on. Brandon McGee would not be in his council seat right now without that data and without their work. So I do urge opposition at this time, although I do very much agree with a lot of the stated intentions, and I thank you for being a working participant of the party. Thank you.
Anybody who would like to speak in favor of the resolution? Yeah, want to come on up? So we have 1 more after this in opposition and 1 more in favor, and then we will have a vote. I'm going to keep looking at Patrick to make sure that I'm following the rules. Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Hello. So in my day job, I'm a data analyst, and I deal with clients' confidential data. And I have seen our third-party vendors we have worked with in the past inappropriately using our clients' data, and it is for far less severity than actual politics and elections. So I think it's better to have fewer points of failure, especially with everyone's confidential information, and it shouldn't be in the hand of a private interest that has financial gain to come from it. So I think in the hands of the party is working better for the people than whoever owns the company themselves.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else who would like to speak in opposition?
Thank you. Again, I'm Councilmember McGee from the city of Denton. There's only 2 people in this room, I believe, who have voted on a Texas Democratic Party budget. That is myself and my former colleague, Sally Ortega-Haynes. Here's why we don't do this. Raise your hand if you are a sustaining donor to the Texas Democratic Party. Everyone's hand did not go up. That's why we can't do this. The state party cannot afford to do this. We are not the Republican Party of Texas. We are not flush with cash. My colleague, Dr. Beck here, is a data scientist. He will tell you that it is perfectly safe to do this because we set the parameters and the controls for the data company, for the third party who controls this data. It is regularly practiced in most major cities. Most major companies also hire third-party vendors to control their data. If you all want this to happen, we are all in favor of it, but that means everyone needs to be a sustaining donor to the Texas Democratic Party so we can increase our budget and have extra money to do this. We choose to spend our money getting folks elected to office, which as Democrats should be our first and primary goal. Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to speak in favor? Come on up. All right, after this, we will move to vote. No, so we had 2 in opposition, Jordan Villarreal and Brandon Chase McGee, and then 1 in favor, and this will be another person in favor. I can bring the mic down to you as well, if that's easier.
I don't mind stairs.
Okay.
I'm just a little stairs.
No.
Point of information, can you clarify that I was the motivator and that's different than speaking for?
Yes, so we had someone in the back, I did not catch your name, another delegate who's spoken up in favor. This will be the second vote in favor. Jordan and Brandon have voted or have spoken in opposition, so that's all of our speakers.
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Tilly. My husband works in data analysis, and I work in cybersecurity support. And I also I work for a different company, and I do also see how private interest companies often have access to data and will misuse that data for their own interests, for their own personal gains. And I personally, for my own data, will try to, as much as I can, save it offline. Thank you. I would not trust third-party companies with our data, and it's worth donating and setting aside funds to make sure our data is safe and not able to be intercepted and manipulated, to ensure that our data is safe and protected and that it's accurate so that we can make the best decisions as a party and that we have the most accurate data to be successful.
Yes. That's the biggest
Okay. Parliamentarian question. Because we have standing rules, I don't need to close discussion. I can just call for a. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Robert's rules is not my forte. What's the word again? I'm sorry. Standing division? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna call for a standing division. So if you are in favor of the state party developing their own database, please stand. Okay. Does it look close? If you could be seated, and those of you in opposition of the state party developing their own platform, John, you're not a delegate for our convention. I appreciate the standing, but I'm going to ask you to sit down. Okay. I think we need to count. Okay, so if you are in opposition, please remain standing, and our nominations chair, our chair, and our parliamentarian will count.
I'm going to do this corner.
Yes.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in this section.
Can you add me to that, please?
He's
double counted.
21. Do you think I double counted?
He double counted.
Okay, good. I'll defer. 21. Stay standing, sorry.
Yes.
Are you standing to vote, sir? No. Okay.
The opposition is 39, so the resolution fails. Okay. All right, so there are 2 more. And the resolution, I'm going to go ahead and read it now. Resolution 2095 by Raza, Denton CD 26, immediate ceasefire and human rights accountability in the Israel-Palestine conflict, overturn anti-BDS laws, conditional military aid to Israel, rebuild Gaza, and recognize Palestinian statehood. Whereas the enduring conflict in Gaza has led to a significant humanitarian crisis characterized by the loss of lives, destruction of infrastructure, and severe restrictions on access to essential services, and has led to the deaths of over 30,000 civilians and a majority of women and children, and displacing thousands of families in violations of human rights. And it is imperative for the state of Texas Democratic Party to take a stand for peace, justice, and human rights in the region. And whereas a majority of Americans advocate for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for an immediate end to hostilities and the establishment of peace and security in the region. And we recognize the need for an immediate ceasefire to halt the violence and create a conducive environment for dialogue and negotiation. And whereas we affirm our commitment to holding all parties accountable for their actions and ensuring respect for international humanitarian law and human rights principles. Whereas the ongoing violence in Gaza directly impacts communities worldwide, including our own, through the displacement of families, the global response to humanitarian needs, and the broader implications for international peace and security. And whereas the killing and suffering of innocent civilians, particularly women and children, is a grave concern that transcends borders and demands urgent action from the international community, including local governments, to advocate for peace and humanitarian relief. And whereas our communities as centers of diversity and democracy have a unique voice and responsibility to speak out on behalf of their residents for the promotion of global peace, the protection of human rights, the support of international law among our state, its elected representatives. Now, therefore be it resolved, we demand an immediate ceasefire and accountability for human rights violations committed by all parties involved in the conflict, and support efforts to ensure justice for victims. Be it further resolved, we advocate for the overturning of state anti-BDS, parentheses, boycott, divest, and sanction laws, which infringe upon individuals' rights to freedom of speech and expression in Texas. Be it further resolved, we call for conditioning United States military aid to Israel on the basis of respect for human rights and compliance with international law. We oppose the investment of millions of dollars in Texas taxpayer money in Israeli bonds, which could contribute to the perpetuation of the conflict and human rights abuses. Be it further resolved, we demand long-term peace and stability in the region and recognition of Palestinian statehood, along with pledging to support the recovery and reconstitution efforts in Gaza, in collaboration with the United States and the international community, and to rebuild infrastructure and provide humanitarian aid. I'm going to go ahead and call up the resolution's author to answer any discussion. Just the one that wrote the resolution and is a delegate, I'm sorry. Okay, any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious to know if there's room for amendments to resolutions, given that this particular topic just went before the UN, led by the United States, and was vetoed by China.
Amendments are in order.
All right, I defer to the parliamentarian Robert's rules. Amendments are allowed. How do we?
We have rules on that.
Okay. Again, y'all, this is my really first time running a convention in person because COVID, so.
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe there was also a 1-minute limit on discussion of amendments, with one in favor and one against. Am I right on that, on what we voted? So in order to have an amendment, you would need to make a motion and a second. The person making the motion or their designee would have 1 minute to speak in favor of the amendment, coming up here and doing it. And then someone opposing the amendment can have 1 minute to speak in opposition to that. And that would apply to any of these resolutions, not just this one.
So I recognize Jennifer Lane.
Well, wait,
okay.
We would start with the person speaking in favor of the motion as a whole.
Okay, so.
Because that's one of the two in favor.
One quick question before any of this. When was the resolution written?
This was submitted to the state party. I don't have the date in front of me, but it was before convention. So this was sent out in.
So probably before this past week.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if someone would like to speak in favor, and can it be the resolution's author?
That's the first speaker in favor is the resolution's author or designee. That's what it said, which we approved this morning.
Thank you for being our parliamentarian. I appreciate you. So I'm going to start a timer for 1 minute. All right.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Farheen Raza. I'm a proud Muslim American and a very big voting group that is so slowly not being very much heard in the party. I have my friend Deb Armentar, who's a proud Jewish woman, and we are here because if you look at the state Democratic Party, which has already unanimously passed this resolution back in December. So the state party has already done this pre-handed, and we have listed the reasons. It covers everyone and everything. Yes, there was a new vote, and it was, not got passed in the UN, but we are here to say let's stand with our own state party and pass this resolution because it just would show, unity among the state parties, and they're all voting together today. So that's all.
Okay, point. I can recognize a point of information during discussion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Amy.
Why do we need to do it if the state party has already done it?
Okay. 1 minute to respond. Okay. Thank you.
So the one that was approved in December was before, more things have happened, and this resolution is actually more focused. It condemns not just one side, it's both sides. There's problems on both sides. There needs to be a stop to this. It specifically mentions the BDS laws, which they went through. It also mentions that we need to also condition aid, which our funding is doing all this. So it's more, more speaking more, and this was written, I believe, a week ago. So it's more current and more better.
Clarifying. One thing we haven't mentioned, because we haven't gotten to a real contested resolution here, we have a choice to either pass it as amended, fail it, or forward it without resolution, or without a recommendation. That is, some people in our county said this should be, and it goes to the state resolutions committee, and they see it, but we didn't say yes or no. So those are our choices. Just to let you know what those choices are. And points of information are not either for or against, so they don't count in terms of our limits. And I'm going to rule that motions to amend are neither for or against, and so they don't count, just to keep things going here. And you have somebody wanting to be recognized.
Aren't there already a bunch of these proposals listed in that 351 that are listed?
Yes, so there are multiple. This exact resolution is listed in multiple counties. This is just like the Denton County delegation says it's good, the Collin County delegation says it's good. So everyone can either submit a resolution or be a local sponsor to a resolution from another county, and then it's on our docket.
No, I'm talking about the state convention list of resolutions.
Yeah, so this is from.
A bunch of these on it already.
Yes, there are, and everyone can. Theoretically, you could have this resolution in 254 counties, and all 254 counties could say it goes to the state convention, and so it's just kind of.
I was asked a point of information of how would we forward it without a recommendation. Someone would need to make a motion to say, move that we forward without a recommendation, and then we would discuss that and vote on that. And then if that motion failed, we'd come back to the main motion. Sometimes parliamentary gets complicated.
So the option we currently have is if someone would like to make a motion to not engage further, basically, we would just pass it along without recommendation.
Can we hear the amendment?
Well, we haven't recognized the motion to amend.
Okay.
But now we recognize the motion to amend. Well, no, Jennifer has an amendment.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, does she make the motion and then get a second?
She has to make.
Yeah.
It needs to be stated.
How many of us know Robert's rules?
Okay. The amendment that I recommend, because I support this, is to bring it up to date, simply to include the recent action in the UN Council. To include that with the amendment so that it has timeliness and references the fact that our national government has moved in this direction. That's my amendment. And if I may state it to be added to the text, it would be something like, in recognition of the United States I don't know exactly what it's called. They did efforts to the United States. They actually had a vote led by the United States for a ceasefire in recognition of the recent action by the United States in the United Nations. Together with the rest of the text of this amendment, Denton County supports moving forward with this resolution. That's the amendment I suggest, so that we recognize that there's a motion in the direction of this already at the national level, at the international level. Not to be in opposition of this, but to add to it.
Can you say your name? Diana, okay, so seconded by Diana Stallard. So now we vote on the amendment? Okay. Okay, as anyone would like to speak for the amendment?
Point of order.
Yes.
If the author of this resolution is in favor, can this be accepted as a friendly amendment?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, the author can accept it.
Okay, do you want to accept this as a friendly amendment, then we don't vote?
Oh, the amendment that was just.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the author accepts as a friendly.
Is there any objection for the authors accepting this as a friendly amendment?
Thank you. That's what it's intended to be. To give it more strength rather than less.
That being the new motion
Yeah.
that's on the floor.
This is the last resolution, and then some rule stuff, and then you guys get to like talk in your delegations. I promise. We saved the long one for last. Okay, so the friendly amendment passes. There was no. Okay.
It's accepted.
Yeah, except the friendly amendment is accepted by the author. So now more discussion. Anybody in opposition of the resolution with the friendly amendment? Okay, so there's no opposition, so I don't need to call for another in favor for the standing rules. So our options.
Motion to call the question.
Someone want to call the question?
Motion to call the question.
Okay, there's a motion to call the question.
I'll second it.
General point of information, if we call the question, we have to vote on whether to call the question. If we don't call the question, we can vote on the actual thing.
Sorry, I was trying to.
Right. Okay.
No, that's okay. Okay, so the call the question wasn't seconded, so it's not real.
Okay, withdraw.
Motion.
Yes. Hi, Richard.
Can we move to adopt the resolution by acclamation?
I was doing standing division, but how does?
I think a standing division is quicker.
Yes.
Okay. Because of the nature, I'm going to read our options. We can pass as amended because this has now been amended. We can fail it, or we can forward without recommendation, meaning we as a body would think the state party should deal with this. We're not going to vote. We're not for or against. It's just passing it along. So we're going to do standing division. All in favor of passing the resolution to the state party, who is a delegate, please stand.
As amended.
As amended and accepted friendly amendment by the author. All right, we're gonna count. So those standing are in favor of.
Say opposition and then.
Okay, so thank you. If you could be seated. Everyone in favor of failing the resolution, please stand. Failing.
Those opposed.
Yes.
Here's your chance. And those who just want to forward.
Yes, and then now, if those who would like to forward without recommendation, please stand. Okay.
I think that's.
All right, so
Now you could ask for a call for acclamation.
I don't think we need to do that.
okay, so the resolution as amended passes. That concludes my role as the platform and resolutions. Okay, this is the last bit of business with Robert's rules and all of the da-da. I'm gonna call on the Rules Committee report.
Well, I have 11 here, 9 of which the Rules Committee said, these look like bookkeeping changes to the rules, and 2 of which may have some controversy involved. I'm going to briefly summarize what the rule changes were. By the way, I've actually been on the State Rules Committee, And while I was there, 80% of what we did was snoozeville. Do we need to put a comma in this sentence? You know, that kind of stuff. But 20% of it was actually important policy. So occasionally you get important policy in here. So for example, I'll just run through the ones that we thought were no-brainers. And then I will ask for objections on each one. And if there's no objections, we can just do it. This is a phrasing about a section which talks about party officers, and now it says, the proposal is to amend it to read in addition to saying party officers, now to say party officers, public officers, and candidates. And then down in the text, saying a public officer is those who are elected to a partisan seat in a state, county, or federal jurisdiction. And we strike the residency section, which says all party officers shall be a resident of the precinct, district, and other political division, and moving outside the residence of the precinct, district, or other political division shall constitute an automatic vacancy, and replace it instead of saying residency, it now says party officer residency. And for the other kinds of officers, it has a paragraph saying candidate eligibility, and candidates for any office are ineligible when they file for office with multiple parties during the same filing period. So in the past, we didn't say anything about what happens if somebody files both as a Democrat and a Republican, or as a Green Party or any other party. Now it's saying any candidate for a Democratic office, if they file for another party, they're not a candidate anymore. They shall be ineligible when they file for office for multiple parties during the same filing period, if during the period of the year of the filing through the final deadline to remove from the ballot, a candidate for party office publicly supports or endorses an opposing party or nominee of an opposing party, a person seeking the nomination of the opposing party, or a non-democratic candidate seeking an office in election in which the Democrats may file by party affiliation and a Democrat is seeking that office, then they shall be declared ineligible. What this would mean, if you look way back in history, back when there were Democrats for Eisenhower, those people wouldn't be eligible for the Democratic Party. That's what this is proposing. Now, we thought this was a no-brainer. Does anyone have objection to forwarding this to the Rules Committee as accepted?
Well, I have a question.
Question, yes.
So Beto O'Rourke endorsed Will Hurd for, for the House of Representatives in El Paso against the Democratic candidate, and then he ran for governor. Would he not have been eligible?
If it was in the same election, not something you did earlier, it has to be the same election cycle.
Thank you.
Yeah. For whatever, the same period. So
John's not, was that John, or who was that? I'm sorry.
Sally has. It's the rule for precinct chairs and other party officers. This expands it to include anybody who's a candidate for a Democratic, who is a candidate on the Democratic ballot. And it doesn't mean somebody could have been a Republican 2 years ago. They can run as a Democrat now. It means the same election cycle. If you're going to be elected in November, you can't support a Republican in November. That's at least publicly. What you mutter to your wife, that's not covered here. Point of information?
John is not a delegate.
Oh, sorry, if you're not a delegate, we have to keep moving.
Can you repeat that, exactly what happens? Does this talk about Democratic candidates, or just a Democrat who supports a Republican can't be a Democrat? Clarify that, please.
Let's see. Okay, first of all, they expanded the section to include talking about candidates and people holding office, but it says candidate eligibility. Candidates for any office are ineligible when they file for office with multiple parties during the same filing period. If, during the period of the year of the filing through the final deadline to remove from the ballot, a candidate for party office publicly supports or endorses an opposing party or nominee of an opposing party, a person seeking the nomination of an opposing party, or a non-democratic candidate seeking an office in an election in which candidates may file by party affiliation, and a Democrat is seeking the office in question, then they shall be declared ineligible for party office. It does not apply to somebody who's got a 6-year term and they're not running for office right now. We don't, it's only, we're saying, it's a way of us to say, this guy who's endorsing Donald Trump is not on our ballot. We take him off the ballot because they endorsed a Republican. I did not expect this to be complicated.
There is a candidate who's running for school board of education, I read, who ran as a Republican and as a Democrat in this cycle. So that might be the impetus that's causing this. And I read the article about it, and his reasoning was whichever primary he wins, and I don't know if that's what's causing it, but I know that happened. And I don't know which primary he won, but the news article was saying, well, what happens? And there's no real rule that says he can't. And he says, well, I believe in both sides, and I'll just see which one I win. So I think it was School Board of Education. State Board of Education. Yeah. It was the State Board of Education. And did he lose the Democratic one? He was in both primaries because there was nothing that stopped him from doing that, which we can't do that. But in terms of endorsing, I think that goes a little too far.
This isn't endorsing. This is saying the party actually can remove people from, just as the party, if you are a precinct chair, it's already in the rules, solidly there, it's been done before. If you're a precinct chair and you endorse Republicans, the party can remove you from your precinct chair.
Yes.
So.
Okay, I'm sorry. So if there is a race that does not include a Democratic candidate,
Then this doesn't apply.
that does not apply.
Only if there's a Democrat in the race and the person endorses an opponent to the Democrat, does it apply. Is there any objection to forwarding this as approved? We need to move on. We've got 11 of these to do. Do you really have a new issue to bring up here?
It's in there, in the end.
Point of information, does this also count for municipal elections?
No. Municipal elections do not have a party.
If I can finish my question, so is it okay if a Democrat precinct chair endorses a Republican running for mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like it, but this does not apply to that.
Because they're nonpartisan races.
Yeah.
So if we have, God forbid, George Santos in the Democratic Party, and we know that there's representation, we think that we can't recommend anybody else who's not a Democrat. If the only people running are a Democrat presence in the
You can't publicly oppose a Democrat. We got to beat them in the primary.
Yep.
That's the time to stop them. And yes, we've had some bad people get the primary nomination just because they have a popular name, as our state treasurer was named Jesse James and was unbeatable back in the 70s.
For the sake of people getting to go have lunch.
Yes.
What do we need to do to
All right.
bundle, move? Is there an option to just vote as we want?
Is there objection to letting forwarding this is approved? If there is, we can forward it as no recommendation. So is there objection to forwarding it as approved? Yes. Raise your hand. Okay. Is there objection to forwarding it as no recommendation? No. Okay. We'll get on with this. Let me where'd my pen go? That's okay. All right.
Sorry, my kid's got a baseball game.
All right, get that out of the way. All right, there's a long paragraph here that says, where's the backup page?
Can we motion to accept the committee's recommendation?
Yeah.
On all the following?
All right. All right, that is an option. If somebody wants to make a motion to accept the committee's
I motion to
recommendation.
accept our trusted committee.
Second.
for the rest of it. And what we already voted on is stuck, so.
Yeah,
All right.
that one's fine.
There is a motion to accept as is. Is there a second? Did you get the names of the motion in the second? A question over there? All right. Rather than, I think the quickest way is say, is there objection?
We don't even know what we're voting on.
So
Is there
if
objection
there's,
to what? Read it out, Gary.
all right. You want to hear what we're voting on?
Yes.
That's fine. It's just going to take a little while because some of these are whereases and whatever. Sorry. We have a motion. All right. Since we do have objection, let's have a standing division. Those in favor of accepting the committee's recommendations on the rest of the resolutions without reading them, please stand. I think that's a majority, so let's do it quick. So you sit. Those objecting to accepting the committee's recommendation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's pretty clear that the majority is in favor of accepting it. So we're going to forward the rest recommendations as the committee voted. I will keep these in hand for anybody who wants to come and see what we went through. And because nothing is official until the state rules committee votes on it. So that's where the real decision is going to be made, is at the state level, and they have more information than what I was able to glean from this information. Okay, back to...
Thank you so much, Patrick.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question. Are those somewhere where we can read the text? Are they online somewhere?
They've been on.
I mean, we'll put them in the back of the room and you guys can read them, but they're really just procedural rules. I personally don't want to go through them as well, but Patrick we have a very well experienced person on the rules committee. And the caveats are so nuanced, we don't want to be here another hour debating stuff that we actually don't participate in. Question, ma'am?
And just a point of comment, I'm assuming that we had a very good committee that went through these and that we should trust what they.
Thank you so much. We did. Our volunteers went through that, led by Patrick, who's been doing this for a long time and understands the nuances better than any of us.
And they were posted.
And they were posted. Okay. We can, yeah. Texas Democratic Party has all of these things listed and all of the things that they want us to go over, these rules and these changes. But none of it really substantively affects us and how we move forward. But thank you guys so much. We want to wrap this up, and we have one last thing that we really have to do. We have to vote on a. Did somebody else something? No? Oh, okay. We have to vote on a convention chair for each of your delegates. Okay, so for each of the congressional delegates. So US 26, we need a person who's going to be the Denton County chair for delegation 26, as well as 4, 13, and 32. And we're going to start with 26. So what we're going to do is, and if you're in 26 and you're going to be going to El Paso and you want to be the delegation chair for US 26, please raise your hand if you want. Okay. Are you in 26, Patrick? Are you going to El Paso?
Second.
Patrick's been nominated. You can also nominate yourself. Anyone else who you're likely to go, right? I don't know if he's definitely going. Make sure if you want to go and be the delegation chair of Denton County for US 26, you can self-nominate.
I want to have a personal statement.
Okay, when we get the nominating people, we'll let you guys. Okay.
My wife is having knee surgery May 10th. Depending on her recovery, depends on whether I'll be in El Paso. So you should pick somebody else.
Oh, that was easy. Okay, if you are interested in being the delegation, then just please come up and we're gonna give you 1 minute and then you guys are gonna vote and then we're gonna go to the next one. Who wants to be the delegation chair for US 26 for Denton County? So you'll be the Denton County delegation for 26. All right, we'll give each of you 1 minute and then 26 will vote. Okay, so that's why you gotta be in your district. Are you running as well, sir? Okay, all right, thank you so much. Okay, tell me.
Hello, my name is Fawn Monroe, and I live in Flower Mound. And my reason for offering my name up is because I'm available and I'm willing. That's it.
Hi, I'm David. I'm originally from McKinney, but I just moved to Aubrey. I'm running to be the chair delegate because I want to get more involved in my local community and I care about the area.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia Anwar and I also would like to run as the chair. I am going to be attending. I am also ready and available, which I appreciate everyone putting in to add in additional work. That's always a good thing. And I am hyper organized. So if you want text emails and you want a group text the night before, the morning of, what the run of show is gonna be, and you want someone to contact and who's gonna keep you in the loop, that's something I enjoy doing in my free time. Thank you.
All right, let's vote we're going to stand up. I'm going to call each person's name. So those who want to vote for Fawn to be your delegation rep, please stand.
Are we not here?
No, only 26.
Okay.
Can she be vice chair?
Hold your hand up.
Are you guys counting? Can you count how many? Only through 26.
Are you voting for? With your hand up?
Oh, goodness, no.
No.
All right, if you are voting for David, please stand up. That's what I got. And if you are voting for Sophia, please stand up. Well, it appears Sophia is going to be our US 26 Denton County delegation chair. Thank you guys so much for stepping up. And in the event something happens, Sophia, we will then, I guess, look to Fawn. All right, now let's go to District 13. How many do we have in 13?
We're over here.
Okay.
I'd like to make a nomination for Councilmember Brandon Chase McGee for our delegation.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else in 13? Yes, ma'am?
When you asked the question, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
I mean, are you nominating yourself or are you nominating someone for 13?
Oh, nominating for delegation. Oh, sure. Yes, and I guess I'm nominating myself.
Okay. What's your name? Heather Estevez. Okay. Anyone else? All right.
Right. So I'm just introducing myself? Okay. Hello,
ladies and gentlemen and fellow Democrats. I hadn't quite thought of myself being up here at this moment talking about this, but I am from District 13, and I'm a little upset that I don't have somebody to run against Ronnie Jackson this November, because we definitely need some Democrats, you know, representing District 13. I live right next to UNT, and have you seen our district? Yeah. Have you seen what they've done to it? And I have looked at it before, so it's not like when I looked at it today, it was like new news. I was just reminded, oh yeah, like there I am in the middle of Denton, kind of on the west side, right? And then just that little spot, right? They divvied it up, and then it goes all the way out west to El Paso. I'm an educator, and the two top issues for me going to the state delegation are going to be, obviously, I want more spending on education, and I want a ban on assault weapons. I don't want just regulation. I want to go back to 1994 to 2004 so that we can feel safe again in our schools, in our communities, in our churches, in our stores, and because, you know, it's not life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness if we're afraid to go anywhere all the time. So thank you so much, and I will be very appreciative and just filled with excitement and to represent the district in El Paso in June, because I believe that the Democrats can take back the state of Texas at every level. Thank you so much.
All right, Congressional District 13 folks. As you know, my name is Councilman Brandon Chase McGee. As your former state Democratic Party Executive Committee person, I have done this twice before. So this is a role that I'm familiar with. We're going to El Paso so we can organize the state party so we can get ready to win in November, because frankly, nothing else matters. In addition to that, as a party leader or local elected official, I plan to solicit all of your votes as well as the votes of the rest of our folks from the district, including Wichita Falls and Amarillo, to be the national delegate to the National Convention in Chicago. We have an amazing opportunity this year to not only flip a Senate seat, but make sure we put Joe Biden back in the White House. It starts with organizing the party here and then on to El Paso. So I'm asking for your support to do this one more time. I'm good?
I said I'd vote against him if he talked too long.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, so all in favor of Heather who are in District 13, please stand up. All right, then now all in favor of Brandon? And the result is clear, Brandon gets it. Yep. And thank you, Heather, for putting yourself forward.
Heather, I started off this process running as well, like in one of these convention things. It gets you up and you start talking, so thank you guys for doing that. Do we have anyone from Congressional District 4?
Yes. Rosemary Calderon has been elected by acclamation.
Are we all good? Anybody else want to run? Rosemary Calderon. Y'all make life easy. And you're from El Paso, right? All right. And our final district, we're gonna have to hang out when we get there. CD 32, Congressional District 32. Have you guys by acclamation? Are you the only two?
We flipped the coin and I won.
Okay, so what name did we go down?
Lauren Tenney, Tenney.
Lauren.
Yep.
Okay.
L-A-U-R-N, just like Rob.
All right, well that concludes what we have to do. Just want to remind you guys, donate locally, donate to your party, donate to your local candidates. You want these people to win, donate locally, okay?
I'm doing it all.
Did you need to do something?
I just want to make a suggestion. Y'all that intend to go to El Paso, I suggest you go ahead and get online and make your hotel hotel reservations because they fill up early and you want to be left somewhere out in the desert. So you actually drive
Sometimes they want to say, okay.
Are there any critical announcements with everybody ready to leave?
I wanted to make a caucus announcement. I'm from the Texas Progressive Caucus, and we're organizing a bus from the city of Dallas, which I know is not Denton, but if we all got together, we could have a second bus leave from Denton. But anyways, if you want to see about riding on our bus, please see me. I'll stand out front. And we're also doing Airbnbs that are ending up being anywhere from $25 to $75 per night if you don't feel like spending a ton of money at a hotel. But you have to sit and hang out with progressives, and we're crazy.
On the road to El Paso, did you need an announcement?
Convention meeting. Be on the lookout for your SDEC members or your acting SDEC members, and they cover a lot of area for your pre-convention meeting. You're going to want to attend this prior to convention so you understand what you're getting into. For TX13, it's going to be myself as the acting SDEC committee man and Leslie Molina as the acting woman. I'm not sure who's representing everyone else, but just make sure you're on the lookout for an email from your SDEC members.
There is food and drink in the hospitality if you need to get some so you can get to the car and then go to a real restaurant. I also wanted to announce that we had 2 candidates come in. We don't have time for them to do speeches, but I want Angela Brewer, who's been a great supporter, HD64. Thank you for coming. Give her some love. And then where is Stephanie Draper? Okay, Stephanie Draper is running against Tan Parker, so look her up and give her some money. We need to get rid of that bootlicker, right? I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn, and I will see y'all in El Paso. We're gonna party in El Paso. So moved. Are there anyone opposed to going home right now? Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day.